Thank you, Sam. Our lead story, big story around the world. Russia has ordered troops into two rebel-held areas of Ukraine. The President Putin has also declared independence.
Well, today the Biden administration will announce some new sanctions against Russia for its aggression in Ukraine.
President Biden signing an executive order late last night prohibiting investment, trade, and financing by American firms in the two Ukrainian provinces that will be occupied by so-called peacekeeping forces.
And U.S. officials won't say whether the U.S. and allies view Russia sending in those so-called peacekeeping troops as an invasion.
We're going to observe what they actually do, not just what they say, and we will respond accordingly.
The White House said the administration is also working with allies and NATO partners to consider other sanctions that might be necessary.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken also set to meet with Ukraine's foreign minister today in Washington.
The United Nations held an emergency Security Council meeting in response to Russia's actions, and during the meeting, Ukraine's envoy said the UN was being infected by the virus that is the Kremlin. U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield said the Security Council must act together in this crisis because President Putin is testing our international system.
In essence, Putin wants the world to travel back in time, to a time before the United Nations, to a time when empires ruled the world. But the rest of the world has moved forward. It is not 1919. It is 2022.
And she added an attack on Ukraine is an attack on the sovereignty of every UN member state.
Also during last night's face-off at that emergency meeting, Russia blasting the West for, quote, whipping up unfounded panic and criticized the West for sending weapons to Ukraine.
Unfortunately, we are forced to note the extremely negative role played in all of this by our Western colleagues led by the USA. Instead of forcing Kiev to implement its obligations, they have merely been openly egging Ukraine on.
The Russian representative to the UN also said they remain open to diplomacy, but insist they won't allow a bloodbath in the Donbas region. The ongoing situation between Russia and Ukraine also impacting the world oil markets, which could eventually mean higher gasoline prices.
The price for a barrel of U.S. crude passed $94 a barrel early this morning. Oil prices are now up more than 20% this year and up more than 80% since the start of last year. Experts say tight supply has also been a factor, but the conflict in Ukraine could result in oil prices surging to more than $110 per barrel.
Russia was the largest supplier of natural gas and oil to the European Union last year.
Here's what gas prices look